Okay, Ambassador, we know that the U.S. is the biggest donor in this country. Would like you to tell us how much the U.S. contributes.
Overall, the U.S. participation and the U.S. partnership in Uganda probably exceeds $750 million a year. $750 million of the U.S. taxpayers' money is spent in partnership with the people of Uganda.
But that partnership has gotten strained recently.
Yes, it has.
Especially after the president signed the Anti-Homosexuality Bill into law. I remember the U.S. Secretary of State saying that they're going to review the relations with this country. What have you come up with in the review?
Well, you know, what the Secretary said is that we need to take a look at our programs, and we're doing that. But we're doing that to ensure, first and foremost, Chris, that they are consistent with our law and with our principles and with our policies. We're looking at all of these things, but I will tell you, yes, it will have an impact. There's some things that will change.
What things will change?
Probably some of the partners that we work with. But what really upsets me is when I hear people say, because the donors have cut aid, people will die or their life-saving treatment will not continue. We have not cut a single penny in those areas. Those people of Uganda who look to us to provide care and treatment, we aren't walking away from that. We would never do that. We aren't going to leave them abandoned in that sense. We've also heard these repeated statements following that somehow we don't need your aid doesn't matter, it has no impact, it makes no difference, take your aid and leave. And I've had Americans who have been accosted on the street, and people have said that to them. And I think that's really unfortunate, but again, I don't think people understand what that aid is all about. They don't understand how many lives it touches every day. So instead of encouraging tourism, instead of putting money into building a tourism project, we put money into protecting the biodiversity of your country. It's shifting resources, it's thinking about what makes sense.
Isn't that punishing the wrong people? Because the president is the one who signed this bill. And America knows very well the president's strong point is security.
But I'm not sure I see how we're punishing people. Again, the choice not to encourage, to promote Ugandan tourism at the moment, when a segment of our population is not welcome in your country as a tourist because they're gay, that's just, I don't see that punishing Ugandans. The fact that we continue to provide life-giving assistance to people, assistance that isn't being provided by anyone else right now, that's not punishing, that's saving, that's making a difference. So I don't see us as punishing the people of Uganda at all. Where do you see that? I don't see it.
There are a number of commentators who are saying that this reviewing of aid is being taken to soft targets. The people who are involved in this is the president. And actually, there are people who are saying that the president took that decision after President Barack Obama made a public warning. You know?
He did.
Because earlier on, the president seemed to be reluctant.
Yours is a sovereign nation. Your president, your parliament, your leaders, they make their choices. I've seen a lot of people trying to shift the responsibility for these decisions to the United States, and I reject that out of hand. I don't believe that to be true at all. And I will ask you, you go ask your president why he made those choices.
But do you believe that President Obama made a miscalculation to publicly warn President Museveni against signing the bill? Because earlier on, when it was just passed in Parliament, the president was reluctant.
No, I do not believe.
Immediately Obama said that, please, we're warning that the relations will change. He signed it. And he called all the media to tell them, come and watch this.
But I'm telling you that I have no qualms whatsoever about my president's statements. I have no qualms whatsoever about the United States telling a partner our concerns. If we cannot honestly have an exchange of views, if we cannot tell Uganda that, here, if you do this, here's how it's going to affect us. This isn't threatening, but it's working with the partner to say, you need to understand, as you make your choices, know that this is how we're going to feel about it. And people love to say that you only care about security and this is about your strategic interests and you don't care about anything else. It's not true.
Okay, Uganda's had a number of laws that many opposition people have said, opposition leaders have said, infringed on human rights and their fundamental freedoms, like the Public Order Management Bill. When it was passed, we didn't see the kind of reaction that the US had after the anti-homo. Which seems to suggest there's more than meets the eye.
No, I'm happy to talk, for example, about the Public Order and Management Bill. Over 2 years, we have engaged with Ugandans, with parliamentarians, with civil society and others to look at that legislation.
Initially, when the Anti-Homosexuality Bill was brought forward, it had some draconian, clauses. But it changed considerably.
It's still draconian, though.
But,
I'm sorry,
but
yeah.
it didn't spark the kind of reaction from the US. I mean, the Public Order Management Bill didn't kind of stir the kind of reaction that we're seeing from this. Is there something
Chris,
that...
we had room to have this very constructive dialogue with the government and with parliamentarians and others about the Public Order and Management Act. When you're having constructive dialogue and it's moving in the right direction, that's a good thing. And the result, I would argue still, was a good result. Implementation, that's another story, and you all have to sort that out, but the legislation itself wasn't bad.
Pleasure talking to you, Ambassador. Thank you very much for your answers.
Bye-bye.
Okay.